We are discussing Week 14 in the NFL with the best in the business, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. I'm Peter Loshak. You're watching SBR Videos. And Joe Duffy, of course, has a great record at his website with his plays that he thinks have good value. In our videos, though, a lot of times he covers tough games with not clear value, and Detroit-St. Louis might be another one of these games, Joe Duffy, that I asked you to cover. Right now, St. Louis is the line's pick'em or -1 for St. Louis. Totals 40.5 or 41, and the Rams, of course, got crushed at home by Arizona, looking like they're having all kinds of issues. They've scored 10 points total in their last 2 games. They're now 0-4-1 against the spread over their last 5. They've also gone under in 9 of their last 11. So that's been the way to bet, either to fade them or to bet unders with the Rams of late. They fired their offensive coordinator. They're having a quarterback, carousel, a quarterback shuffling with Foles and Keenum, just like the Cleveland Browns are. We just got finished discussing that game. So how much is St. Louis going to be able to pick things up offensively here? Not exactly sure. And then Detroit, of course, is coming off the heartbreaking Hail Mary loss on Thursday night to Green Bay. They have 3 extra days of rest. So adding it all up, it seems like Detroit is an obvious play here. Would you say that that is the case, Detroit +1?
I would not say they're an obvious play. Not that I'm in love with the other side. I would probably slightly lean towards it. Whether or not I'm ready to make an official play, as we say for the purpose of this video, probably not. The Rams, look, they've only scored 10 points their last 2 games, 36 points their last 4 games, and that's perfectly legitimate. I mean, their offense is just absolutely awful. We're now seeing like Nick Foles was not beloved in Philadelphia. Case Keenum clearly wasn't really the answer either. Detroit, though, look, they're off of a heartbreaking loss, a very devastating loss, and these teams are actually with pretty similar overall statistics as far as won, loss, and points per game margin. And with the NFL being such a regression to the mean, the fact that Detroit is the hotter team would actually say that you would go against Detroit. You would go St. Louis because there's so many regression to the mean angles, although none that really jumped out at me as far as the ones I have saved in my computer software here. So I would do a slight lean towards St. Louis, but because you're really liking Detroit, I think I will let Peter Loshak make the official pick for this video.
Well, I don't know. So if you're leaning towards St. Louis, then it means that you think that they are going to be able to fix something on offense. I mean, obviously Todd Gurley, might be an elite running back at some point, but he seems to have hit a bit of a wall here. They're decimated by injuries on the offensive line, and they don't appear to have a quarterback who can make things happen, like Phillip Rivers, for instance, can make happen in San Diego. You think St. Louis is going to be able to turn things around offensively in this one?
Well, correct. But also, look, I know that there are some people out there who say you cannot predict turnovers, and I disagree with that. I think the fact that Matt Stafford is off of such a heartbreaking loss, and you can't really necessarily pin that ridiculous loss on him per se. I mean, the last play and the face mask call and all that stuff. But we saw why Matt Stafford is Matt Stafford. He could not protect a 22-point lead. So I think he's the type of guy who could just, after that devastating loss and the fact that he started to play well, he's predictably unpredictable. I think now he's ready to have a horrible game, and it might be St. Louis get some help from him.
All right. Well, it's going to be officially a pass for Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. My lean on this one would be Detroit. I certainly understand all the the treachery involved with taking Detroit basically at any point in the season. But I'll take them for the purposes of our record keeping in these videos. Detroit +1 is the current market line. Joe Duffy, thanks so much. And tell us about your website, OffshoreInsiders.com. That's where you analyze games where it's not ambiguous for you. You have clear edges on your picks there, right?
Correct. And I was getting some good information literally right before we did this. So I'm going to be adding, by the time people see this video, we'll have a bunch of NFL winners up for this weekend. Just visit OffshoreInsiders.com every day because we've been doing great in basketball, long-term college, and the NBA. OffshoreInsiders.com.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Peter.